Hey everybody, my name is Lisa and I'm the Crafty Goddess. Hello and welcome. I am doing things a little differently today. I'm switching things up and unfortunately it has become out of necessity to switch things up for this video. Um, in case you haven't guessed by the thumbnail, I'm doing a little bit of recapping in regards to what I would bring with me to my chemo appointments, what's in my chemo bag. The reason I'm doing this is because in the past, I'm going to say, few months, there have been, I have to count now, there have been at least 5 brand new cancer diagnoses among people that either I know or folks I know who have family members, friends, whatnot, that have recently been diagnosed with cancer. I say 5. 4 out of those 5 are breast cancer cases. So, yeah, cancer still being a jerk to people around me, especially, yeah, I'm getting flustered already. I'm sorry. I just came back from my visit with my oncologist today, and it looks like I'm going to be in full remission by May. I'm getting my last round of immunotherapy around the beginning of May, and after that, I'm going to be putting all this behind me. I'm not even going to be looking in the rearview mirror because it's, as far as I'm concerned, it'll be done. But I wanted to do this video today as an outreach to folks who are now just starting this journey or have been going on this journey for a little bit. One of whom I just bumped into today at during my immunotherapy session. I'm going to keep their identity anonymous because I don't think they've gone publicly with this on social media. And I know, like, this is just my little hole in the wall on the internet, and not exactly prone to gossip or anything, but I do respect this person and their family's privacy. So I'm not going to say who it is until or unless they make it public. But it's someone I know whose mom was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. She just had her first round of chemotherapy today, and this is something I've actually been thinking about doing for a few days anyway, because last week I found out that someone with whom I converse online was diagnosed with breast cancer too. So the idea kind of started formulating in my brain to do this video today, and then today's visit and unexpected, um, shall we say, I don't want to say visitor, but well, let's just say like today kind of cemented it. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a medical professional by any means. I'm not going to diagnose or offer medical advice of any sort. I just want this to maybe be a bit of a help to folks who are going through this whole cancer journey and for whom chemo is a very real step in dealing with cancer. As I said, I'm not a medical professional by any means. The best way I can think of describing chemotherapy is and I described this to my cousin actually, because she didn't know. She said she didn't know the difference between chemotherapy and radiation. When I started radiation therapy, I probably said this before, so I apologize for repeating myself, but chemotherapy directly attacks cancer cells. It's sort of like the power wash, like when you take your vehicle in to get it washed. The chemotherapy is the power wash. It just blasts everything. And then the radiation acts as sort of like the fine detailing to go into like the little nooks and crannies and crevices to see if there's anything you might have missed, or that the chemotherapy might have missed. Just like the little detailing, especially if, like me, the person is at risk of what's called microscopic disease, which is basically the risk of any little cancer cells in hiding that radiation goes in and pretty much obliterates. So, but chemotherapy, I can say firsthand, really sucked. Did it save my life? Yeah, probably. Like it's definitely a life-saving procedure, and its basic aim is to either get rid of the cancer cells in cases of cancer where it can be cured, like curing is inevitable, whatever. For example, like Hodgkin's lymphoma. There are other examples. Again, I don't want to spread any false information, but Hodgkin's lymphoma was the first one that came to mind. Or in my case, chemo can shrink tumors to where surgery, was inevitable in my case, but where surgery may be more successful. In my case, chemo was so successful that out of the 3 tumors with which I was diagnosed, the one that was in the middle spot in the 9 o'clock position just vanished. All that was left was just the little sac of fluid around the mag seed, which was implanted to show the surgeon where the tumor is or was. I had mag seed insertion, basically just like a little chip of titanium put in where the tumors are, so the surgeon during surgery can open up and go, oh, there it is, and then draw it out. But yeah, all that's left was the little bit of titanium. The rest of it was gone. So yay. But as I said, chemotherapy can be unpleasant. It is something where I would recommend to anybody who's going through it, if you can get anti-nausea medication or antiemetics, do it, because it's such a game changer. It really is. Somewhere along the way, somebody decided, hey, in order for chemotherapy and cancer treatments to be more successful, maybe we should find a way to have patients retain their fluids so they're not completely malnourished and suffering even worse. So yeah, it's something I'm definitely grateful for, because my surgeon, or not my surgeon, my workplace insurance was able to cover the price of my chemotherapy and like different cancer meds that I was on. Yeah, my workplace insurance unfortunately wouldn't pay for extra time for me to be away from work so I could recover fully, but they covered the meds to help me plow through things. So I mean, there's, I'm not ungrateful. But as I said, chemotherapy can be a bit unpleasant, but there are ways to make it more bearable. And again, speaking from experience, I've sat in that chair anywhere from like 2 to 6 hours at a stretch, depending on what I was getting. The first 4 rounds of chemotherapy, I was on 2 different medications, adriamycin, otherwise known as doxorubicin, and cyclophosphamide. The adriamycin or doxorubicin is like the strongest, heavy-hitting, if not one of the strongest chemotherapy drugs, shall we say. It's also known as the Red Devil. If you've ever seen any movies or television shows where somebody's getting chemotherapy and you see a bright red liquid, either in an IV or one of those big fat, oh my God, needle thing, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, words. That's adriamycin. It's also nicknamed the Red Devil for a reason, because it is the strongest chemotherapy. It has the 100% guarantee of weight loss, nausea, all that fun stuff. So, yeah, it's not pleasant, but while you're in the chair, in the chemotherapy suite, there are things that are recommended that folks will recommend that you bring with you. I've seen dozens of videos like the one I'm doing today on YouTube, but as I said, I figured I would put my spin on it as an outreach to folks I know who are going through this very battle right now, to hopefully help keep things in perspective. And also just because, I felt like being nice. And I know people are going to say, well, you're the crafty goddess. What does crafting have to do with this? Who knows? But it's my channel, so I can do what I want. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. So the first thing, I'm going to move this out of the way so I can get things going here. Where did I put that other bag? Where did I put you? Sorry, I'm looking for something there it is. Okay, never mind. I swear, if I would lose my head if it wasn't attached. So, you're going to want to get yourself a nice big tote bag. Anybody who watched my first Temu unwrapping, my Temu unbagging, I got this through them. You can get like a tote bag like in any, places like Marshall's, Winners, whatever. Thrift them if you want. They're big. I prefer one that you can just like dump stuff in and go. I was bringing my backpack, but it felt like I was kind of wrestling with my backpack because I would have to like open it up and do the different compartments, and it was a bit of a pain. You just want something that opens up, you can just dump things in and go. Oh, and small bit of advice. Pack your bag the night before your chemo, because guaranteed the morning of, you're going to be racing around like a chicken with your head cut off going, where's this, that, and the other. Do it the night before. You'll thank me. So, one of the first things I like to bring, that you need to bring, is your wallet. This is my wallet. No, you can't have what's in it, although there's not much there. The reason to bring your wallet is because it has your ID. If you have any, put some money in it, like some change, debit card if you have it. But you're also going to need your photo ID, driver's license, health card, whatever, because when you check in, you're going to have to show your health card so you can get the little bracelet and everything. Make sure you've got those items in your wallet with you, or even just a change purse with your debit card, your photo ID, and some change, because you might have to pay for that hospital parking. Now, I didn't drive myself to chemo. I went through Wheels of Hope, and I can only imagine how much of a nightmare it is to try and find parking in the first place. So I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, remember your wallet, remember your ID. Next item, your phone. This is my phone. If it goes off, I apologize. Bring phone or tablet. Have something that has, music or movies downloaded, so you're not just sitting there endlessly doom scrolling on your phone. You have something that's visually engaging and can hopefully be a distraction to what's happening around you. If anybody out there is like me, I have white coat syndrome, and although I've gotten more used to things as we go, but being in a hospital environment can be anxiety inducing for some folks, and I am no exception to that rule. So, there's only so many times you can doom scroll on social media before it gets boring. So bring something, with, like I said, with movies, music, something that can visually entertain you and sort of draw you out of the environment that you're in. And it also helps sometimes to bring headphones too. I have these. This is my set of hard candy earbuds. They're comfortable for me. They're a little dirty because I wear them to work sometimes. Don't mind the smudges. But get yourself maybe a pair of headphones, even earbuds, whichever, something comfortable anyway. I do have a pair that go over my head, but these come in handy. Obviously, make sure, if you do use earbuds, make sure that they're charged the night before. Same with your phone or tablet or viewing device. Bring your chargers too if you wish, charger cords, because I'm sure you'll find an outlet in the hospital somewhere. That's my list of other things I don't have. As well as keeping visually entertained, I would recommend bringing a book or coloring book, something. I picked this up a while ago. It's the Orsinian Tales by Ursula Le Guin. I started leafing through this when I was undergoing chemo treatments. Maybe bring something that can engage your attention, but also, again, like you're looking for something to distract you, but in a good way. Unless you're on some heavy duty chemo and you get that the Benadryl shot beforehand, because then you're gonna go sleep. So, but I bring something like that. Books, magazines, even coloring books if you want, and some colored pencils and stuff. Bring also a notebook. I can't remember where my husband and I got this from, but it's good to have. This isn't the notebook I started writing stuff in, but it's one that I started just jotting down notes. I do have a separate journal to start to journal different things, like each appointment, each day, if symptoms get worse. I would heavily recommend getting some sort of a notebook and a pen. That way you can jot down anything, like, if you're experiencing different symptoms on a day-to-day basis, your various appointments, what happened at them. It also helps to keep track of, if you have any questions as you go, you can write them down and then bring them with your next to your next oncology visit. I had several questions, and I should have shown my my cancer journal, because I have like lists of questions like this. So I would bring that with me. Yeah, pen and notepad come in handy. I would also bring in, again, if you're inclined, if you knit or crochet or like to play with yarn to any capacity, don't mind me shuffling here. I bring a little project bag with a project inside it. Sometimes it's not this small. Sometimes I would bring larger projects like shawls, ponchos, that sort of thing. But sometimes I would travel small and I'd get like one of these little project bags here. I also got this from Temu. I think this was just less than $2. But if you're looking into something like that, I would recommend something maybe mindless, because like I said, with depending on the type of chemo you're getting, if you get like the Benadryl shot before getting chemo administered, sometimes the Benadryl can make it a little loopy, and then it's nighty-night time. So bring something that's maybe mindless but also comforting to you, like hat pattern, shawl pattern, project, I should say, something like that that works. One of the things that found its way into my chemo bag was a little toiletry bag. When I got my first chemo treatment, my nurse, whose name was Erin, sorry, I'm just reading. No, that's not reading anything. Um, my nurse Erin had handfuls of these. I guess what would happen is some folks who like to support the hospital and do donations and whatnot brought in a bunch of these little bags by a company called Stella and Dot. And inside each bag had different little toiletries and personal items. Again, you don't have to go designer to get one of these bags. I would suggest like getting just like a little mini cosmetics bag or something. You can find something cute at the dollar stores as well, or Walmart, whichever. But in this little bag, you can keep smaller items such as tissue. I'm surprised I still have some. You can get little mini things of body lotion. Although, if you're gonna bring body lotion or hand cream, I would recommend one that doesn't have a scent, because hospitals aren't too keen on like heavy perfumes and smells and that sort of thing. So, my toiletry bag has tissues, unscented hand sanitizer. Uh, says moist wipes. I've never used them, but they're there. Some lip balm. This is by Blistex. Now, I'm gonna recommend lip balm because chapped lips in a dry hospital, not a fun combination. What else we have in here? I've got some little hard candies and some Tums. Now the Tums might come in handy because, going through chemo, your stomach's going to get a little upset because the chemo, what the chemo does basically, again, just my understanding, is it destroys cells in your body that multiply and replicate quickly, which is what cancer cells do. Now, unfortunately, the human body, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, the human body already has cells that multiply and replicate quickly, like in the lining of your mouth, your stomach, your esophagus, hair follicles, that sort of thing. That's why your hair falls out when you get chemo, well, depending on the type you have. So your skin becomes a little more sensitive and a little more dry, which is where the Blistex would come in handy for your lips, and hand lotion for your hands. But also sometimes your stomach might be a little bit upset, so I would bring these with me, as well as some ginger candies, which I do not have, but there's several stores has them. And if you're looking for something sugar-free, I believe Russell Stover offers sugar-free candies as well, like both hard candies, ginger candies. Ginger helps alleviate nausea, and apparently can also act as a bit of a reset too. So because you're gonna, going through chemo, your taste buds aren't going to be the same because, like I said, the lining of your mouth has cells that reproduce quickly. So, your taste buds are going to be off. Things are going to taste the same way they used to. Some taste might be stronger, like some flavors, whatever. So ginger can be a good way to help calm that down. It's even been said to bring ginger tea. I personally never had to bring tea or worry about getting hot water from the hospital, but maybe the hospitals that you're going to for treatment will offer hot water, so ginger tea. And plus it's nice to have a nice comforting mug of something warm in your hands to snuggle with. It works. It comes in handy. Speaking of edibles and stuff, I don't have my water bottle or bag of snacks with me, but I would recommend, sorry, my nose is itchy, bringing snacks and a water bottle. I'm seeing a lot of folks going crazy over these like Stanley drink containers, whatever. First time somebody mentioned people going crazy over Stanley cups, I thought, people are fighting over a hockey trophy? Okay, but I didn't know. I'm obviously way too Canadian for my own good. But, a nice big water bottle. Some folks prefer them with the straws, some without. I didn't have one with a straw. I just, chugged it as is. I'm pretty sure that the oncology suites will provide patients with bottles of water, whatnot. But it is best, I cannot emphasize this enough, and I found this out the hard way, keep yourself hydrated. Chemotherapy and radiation will rob you of moisture. It's best to stay hydrated. Plus, with chemo, you're going to want to try and flush out all those chemo meds a little quicker as well. And it was funny, a friend of mine gave me a bit of advice when I started chemo treatments. She said, if you have to go to the bathroom, don't be brave and try to hold it, whatever, just go. Just, you know, flush yourself out. So bring snacks. We want to, preferably healthy snacks, like, say, a trail mix, you know, some crackers. Where I used to bring dehydrated pineapple, dried mango slices, and beef jerky. So I had my protein, I had my fruits. I realize they're high in sugar as well, but you know, something to keep me sustained. And if you're really lucky, if you're in the cancer or the oncology suite during meal times, you might get served lunch. I usually wind up getting lunch because I would be there till at least after 12:30, 1 o'clock. So, you know, I got a sandwich, I got a bowl of soup. It was great. But yeah, it's also, it helps to keep something. And if you've got somebody coming with you, you can bring snacks to keep them fed too. What else do I have written on this list? Oh, hand sanitizer and masks. I don't have hand sanitizer on me right now, but it comes in handy, especially in hospitals, because that's where a lot of germs hang out. So, bringing hand sanitizers and masks. Also, in the event that somebody else who's in the oncology suite might not be feeling too well, it's a good way to prevent yourself, because going through chemo, your immune system's going to take a hit. So it's best to get that line of defense. Now, when I go to like whatever hospitals I'm going to for whatever procedures, visits, there's always masks at the front plus hand sanitizer, so I can grab that and go. If for some reason your hospital doesn't supply you with masks, it's always, I bring a bunch of reusable ones with me just in case, and then I hand wash them when I get home. So it's a good barrier of protection anyway. Speaking of barrier, well, this isn't more a barrier so much as a comfort procedure, because hospitals can get cold and sometimes you might not be warm enough. So most of the time, well, except for the summer months, because I mean, I'm a furnace 24/7 anyway, so that goes without saying. I would usually wear a warm hat like this. This is one that my sister made me for chemo. She says, "Here's your chemo cap," which I thought was lovely. This is the Brick Stitch Beanie pattern by Jada and Stitches. I've tried it a couple of times. It's not a bad pattern. It gets easier once you get used to it. But if you have a nice warm hat to wear, I would recommend avoiding wool, because, as I said, with chemo, your skin's going to get super sensitive, and if or when you lose your hair, your scalp can get super itchy. So I recommend natural fibers like cotton, bamboo. This is acrylic. This is 100% acrylic, straight up comfy. So I didn't worry about that. But something warm like that to give you that extra layer of warmth. Now, hospitals will probably also give you blankets and pillows and things to keep you all warm and snuggly. So that helps. But I also like to bring something on the side, as well as a pair of comfy socks. I knit these socks. These are my Franken socks. These were just, these were made from like odds and ends and bits and baubles of sock yarn that I had already. So I would wear these. Now, I wear these for two purposes. Number one, you know, extra comfiness. And number two, I would tuck little things of ice into what I drop into my socks, because my last 4 rounds of chemotherapy, I was on something called Taxol. One of the side effects of Taxol is neuropathy, which is basically a numbness or tingling in your extremities, like your fingers and toes. So if you are on a chemotherapy that can cause neuropathy or has the side effect of neuropathy, it has been recommended to get ice baths, like with your hands or feet, like in a bowl of ice. My hospital didn't do that, unfortunately, so I had to get a separate lunch bag to put in my big tote bag. And I went out and got these little thermos cooler thingies. Now, I would hang on to these by hand, so I would have that coldness on my hand while I was going through, you know, I'd lie back and have these in my hands, keep them nice and cool, which with my constant raging sweatiness was helpful, as well as, and I still kept these because these are reusable. So I had repeated biopsies as part of my treatment because I signed up for a case study with the Canadian Cancer Society, basically to, God, there's bits of fluff on here, I'm sorry, basically to test how effective the chemotherapy was with my treatment, how things were progressing, whatnot. And so after the biopsies of the tumors, I would get these little ice packs that are reusable that I could tuck in with my packaging and everything, and to help reduce the swelling. So because these were reusable, I got home, I would put these in the fridge, or sorry, the freezer, and then during my chemotherapy sessions, I would tuck them into my socks and put them like on the palms of, or the soles of my feet. So I would have not quite an ice bath, but I would still be cooled down. So I would have the ice packs on my hands and feet. I did still feel a little bit of neuropathy after, like during and after the treatments, um, but it is a good preventative measure. So again, you can get like a lunch bag, like a dollar store, Walmart, that sort of thing. I didn't need one super huge. I think this actually came with a bento box, which I haven't used yet, but it was big enough to keep like um, ice packs in, cold drinks, like extra bottles of water, that sort of thing. So nice little insulated lunch bag definitely came in handy. As well, sorry, I'm out of frame here. I don't need these socks anymore. Yeah, this was actually made with a worsted weight yarn too. So I used size 4mm double pointed needles because A, I wanted to make myself a nice pair of comfy socks, and B, I don't know how to use the magic loop method yet to do them on circular. So someday I'll learn. And the last item that I can recommend, bring something warm, bring something comfy. Well, like I said, the hospital will probably supply you with blankets and pillows and stuff, but for an extra layer of comfort, I would recommend bringing like a small blanket or a shawl. Some of you folks have seen this, some of you haven't. This is the virus shawl that was made for me by Tori at Polly's Crochet Creations. She sent me a mammoth care package from Alberta, and this was in the box, and I'm so grateful for it. I didn't bring this with me to the hospital because like I said, I'm constantly sweating anyway, but I would curl up with it after when I came home. The weekends that I was coming down with the chemo sickness, this was kind of an extra layer of comfort. And I also snuggled it with it after my surgery. I pretty much just came home, laid down, put this over top of me, and went to sleep. So if you have, something that you can bring that's comfortable, I would recommend that. And good chances are, if you are going through treatments and you know someone who knits or crochets, chances are you've probably already been approached for like color suggestions for like chemo caps, blankets, if you haven't already been given them as it is. I've made and given away chemo caps and prayer shawls for folks in the oncology suite and friends I know, whatnot, that are going through this. Like, this is a hard battle. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's taken its toll on me. Yes, I'll be going into full remission by May, but oh man, it's really taken its toll. Like, I'm still exhausted. I've missed several days from work already. I'm back. I'm on a graduated back to work schedule, but it's still taking its toll. And my God, it's nothing to sneeze at. So having any measure of comfort that can help make things easier, or at least lighten the load during this journey, definitely helps. And this definitely helps. And I'm still so grateful as anything to have this. I still want to make a virus shawl for myself, and Tori said she's going to help me work through it if I decide to. So maybe someday. But those are my recommendations for what to bring with you when you start going through chemo. That's what's in my chemo bag anyway. I can't think of anything else that I would recommend. Bring a friend with you if you want. Don't know if they'll fit in the bag, but having moral support helps. I didn't have people come with me, but I had people come through and visit while I was getting procedures done. So that was always a huge help. But other than that, I can't think of anything else that I would add to this. Just, yeah, stay hydrated, get plenty of rest. These are just merely suggestions. There are other videos on YouTube suggesting what to bring with you for chemo appointments, These are mine. I hope they come in handy. I sincerely hope that nobody else I know in the near future or ever needs to find this out or needs this type of advice. But, cancer is awful, but it definitely, there are ways that you can treat yourself with kindness while undergoing such a god awful life threatening battle. So I hope that helps. I hope the people that I made this video for see this and take some tips, or, take it with a grain of salt, whichever. I hope that this has been helpful and it reaches somebody who might need that extra bit of help or advice during such a difficult time. So, but that's it. I've rambled enough for now. It's been half an hour, and I need to go find something to eat before I fall over. So, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate any and all of the positive feedback. If you have not done so yet, please go down here and click the subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell, and it'll let you know when I post more videos. And if you feel so inclined to put in the comments section if there are any suggestions you might make to folks who are going through chemo right now, if there's any suggestions you would recommend what to bring with them during these procedures, by all means. You don't have to. I know this can be quite a personal thing, but I want to make this as open and welcoming as possible. So yeah, feel free to share feedback if you like. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, get your checkups. If anything looks or feels weird, go to your doctor, kick that door down, and get the answers that you need. Let's all try and stay safe and keep healthy as much as we can. Anyway, take care of yourselves. I will talk to you soon. Bye.